They claim you also, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's where I was raised. You know, I went to school there. Actually, I didn't graduate. They sort of let me escape. I love Corey.
Okay. More questions?
Yes, it was. Yes. Well, I got to act with my daughter, and one of my daughters, I don't know if you all remember a series called Solid Gold Dancers. My daughter was one of them. I mean, she was picked out of 500 dancers that they interviewed, and she was 2 years with the New York City Ballet. And my other daughter is living back east, and she's raising wonderful productions of her own called Babies, which makes me very excited.
Any more questions for Jim?
What are the other Dukes cast members doing now?
John has got his own movie company down in Texas. And then we're on the internet a lot. How many of you, a lot of you on the internet? I got a web page on there. It's only about 3 months old, and if you'd like to tune it in, I think my wife around here's got we've got the code letters, you know, it's under Roscoe Coltrane. Look me up and say hello. I'd love to hear from y'all.
Any other questions? Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. And so I got to work with all bonanzas, rawhides, guns, smokes, wagon trains, Gene Autry's, Hopalong Cassidy's, Jock Mahoney, Combat. Yeah.
Guys were filming Dukes of Hazzard. Was it tough doing scenes when Daisy wore the Daisy Dukes?
Almost impossible.
Well,
who did what?
Who caught them Duke boys most, you or Enos?
Well, Enos didn't want to catch them. You know, that dipstick. He's one that crashed my car so much, you know, and I was a good driver. Enos run me off the road half the time. There was a tree jumping out in front of me. I don't know the loose trees out there. That pond, I don't know how that pond got there. I don't think it wasn't necessary. I mean, it wasn't a necessary pond. Had no fish in it.
This new movie that you just made with your own company coming out now.
They're not going to release it. They're going to let it escape. No, it's a little horror picture. It's not really the type of picture I really wanted to do, but we have to make our backers some money so they don't invest in stuff that we really want to do, you know.
Got shrews in it?
It's got what?
It's got shrews in it? We got a good turn of the shrew. Anybody else?
Actually, the true story. In school, in high school, I joined the art class because there was pretty girls there. They threw me out because I knew there was pretty girls there. Years later, I sold one of my paintings to the art teacher who threw me out of art class. Revenge is sweet! I've been painting about 30 years, I guess.
How was it to work with Denver Pyle?
I don't know if you saw Left-Handed Gun. Denver blew me away in Left-Handed Gun. I worked in Shenandoah. He played the preacher. I played a rebel soldier. So I worked in Denver and Westerns and everything, so we were very, very good friends. In fact, Denver is probably one of the best character actors that was in Hollywood. You know, they don't make too many more like Denver Pyle.
Jim, do you shy away from watching yourself on film?
No, I want to see me.
Well,
That's the honest truth. You know, you hear a lot of actors say, yeah, well, I never go to the rushes. I never want to see myself. Well, heck, I can't get enough of me. But because I know those chicks are going to come in. Oh, that's good. There's a lot of doggy num-nums there.
Did he ever eat that raw liver?
Did Boss Hogg ever eat that raw liver on the Dukes of Hazzard?
You know he did. They give me the queasies. Between that and his cigar.
Were some of Bobby Fleet's band members from the Desi Arnaz Orchestra
What is it?
show? Some of those guys look familiar.
Do you recall any of the Bobby Fleet band guys when you were doing the jail scene with all the guys in the band? Do you know if any of those guys worked with Desi Lou? All died. It wasn't long ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Best-selling novel, and I play a vet.
Say hi to mommy.
And then, of course, as I did Death Mask, there's a
love you, Mommy.
possibility that
Love
they
you.
are going to produce a screenplay that I have written
Say,
called
love you, Mommy.
Hell
It's
for Good
hot.
Times, which is a Southern play.
It's hot out here.
Sweet Holly. And I hope that'll happen. I don't know, I want to do some theater. I'm doing more writing than I am acting, to be very honest with you. And I'm painting. I love the painting end of it.
Coy and Vance.
Because Tom and John quit the show, and for their personal reasons, and as I did. I quit the show for 5-6 shows, and they brought me back. As you understand, Warner Brothers, is like any corporation. They're interested in the money. They don't want to pay any, but they want all. They like to make the money. But so they were scuffing me. I quit 5 shows, and they brought me back, and I got their head straight. And John and Tom did the same thing. They were out, and they brought these 2 gentlemen in. Of course, that's like trying to replace your brother and sister with somebody else, as far as the cast was concerned. The audience, and I think the fans, did not want to see John and Tom replaced. And I totally agree with them. I think those boys did an adequate job, but it's just, they were not Bo and Luke Duke.
No, not at all. It seemed like I read somewhere where it had a lot to do with merchandising of the show. Lunchboxes, games, toys, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and they were kind of stiffing you guys on the money that you were supposed to get.
True.
You were just trying to put it the nice way, weren't
Yeah.
you? Anybody else?
Wesley. I don't have to. You got it. Let's go find mommy.
Well, how sweet of you. Well, I love you back. Oh, listen, we got a letter one time from Florida, and it was from a senior citizens group. And they said, we have bought a General Lee and we've reconditioned it, but we can only jump at about 20 feet. Now that makes the hair stand up on the back of your head. That's a true story.
Some of the songs you wrote, Jim, were?
I wrote the original Mr. Lonely. The lyrics, I don't write music. I don't write music at all. 2 Tears Away from Heartbreak. I've written Gallow Tree. I've written quite a few. There were not that many that I got recorded because I wasn't in that business. I just did it for fun. And a friend of mine owned the company and wrote a lot of the music and a lot of Ricky Nelson stuff and everything. So I was on his album. It wasn't a hit record. I do have an album out that I cut with Flash. I don't think we brought any with us, but they're little 45s. We're going to put them on a videotape. I'm going to do a thing called Roscoe Tells Bedtime Stories. I think that would be fun, don't you? For the kids, you can plug it in, and then when you're driving somewhere and the kids, getting rowdy, well, you can have them. I can tell them a story. Of course, it'll never be like the original, but that's all right.
Amen. Lost Hogs Cadillacs, huh?
Well, actually, they had a backup one, but we never crashed it. We always took pretty good care of that Cadillac.
Anybody else? Questions for Jim? Go ahead.
He did it first. A lot of it was padding. They wanted him a little chubbier. And, of course, I didn't like for him to get too thin, because I love him go... I love to do that.
Who are some of the other deputies on the show that came along after?
Sonny Schroyer and...
he was Enos, right?
And Cletus...
Hurst. Rick Hurst.
Rick Hurst, yeah. Rick Hurst had been a clown in Ringling Brothers and brought him into circus. If you notice, Rick does a lot of his physical stuff. Enos Enos and I used to crash a lot. We'd fall out of the tree, or we'd fall over a fence, or we'd fall over the car, or whatever. And I always say to Enos, I say, Enos, it's funnier if I fall on top of you. And he said, you think so? I said, listen, definitely. Definitely. You fall out of the tree first, and then I'll fall on you and sort of catch me if you can. You know, I said, oh. He was wonderful. He'd do it.
Did you get to keep anything from the show, your outfit, your hat, or anything? Did you keep any of that stuff?
Yes, I did. In fact, I kept quite a few of the outfits. Sometimes when I go on the benefits and everything, I'll wear a portion of them or whatever, or I'll donate them to. A lot of times they have these celebrity collections and something, you know, and
yeah.
they all.
Cafe and that kind of stuff.
Oh. This is a little Midwest scene here, a little Indian town. A friend of mine, Chesney Davis, lived there, and I used to get in a lot of scuffs with him. He could whip me, though, so I had to be friendly with him. I will, Dorothy, just a second, good grief. All right. Do I hear $10,000? I think you can get a raffle ticket. What does it cost? $1? $1. And it's for a charity, right? For the Cancer
Society, right?
American Cancer Society. And that's a very personal thing with me since I lost my little fat buddies. $1. Cancer. Anybody can afford $1. So buy the tickets, even if you don't like the painting. You know what you can do? You can put that sucker in a closet.
Any other questions for Jim? Have you given Jeff Foxworthy any redneck jokes?
No, I am a redneck joke. You'll probably use me. I think that one of the funniest ones is when he said that you know you're a redneck if you mow the front lawn and find your missing truck. That's funny, you know, he's a funny man.
Any other questions for Jim? We're going to let him go. Go ahead. I believe you said 5 movies with you?
Yeah, I did 5 movies, 5 shows with, maybe 6.
Way back there. You think Westerns would make any kind of a comeback?
I think so. You know, Rambo's killed everybody in the world. Rocky's whipped everybody. You know, how many more explosions can we have? How many more body parts can we have splattered all over? I think it's going to eventually come back to where they make a story where we could all recognize. We've all loved to ride a horse, if we haven't. We've always wanted, I think most gentlemen growing up would have liked to have been a cowboy, or at least been active in it. I really believe it'll come back.
Very well that the old dooley died, the women all felt sorry, the men stood round and cried. They made old dooley, they put him on the hill, he got a judge beside him and a barrel for a stone. But dooley, 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 gonna pay you back someday. Dooley, dooley, dooley. I'm going to do one that's done on the show. Right off the bat here again, called the Salty Dog Blues. Charlene, I believe, sang this one.
Not like last. Oh, that's a I got it.
I know most of it. There was another one. There you go.
Salary is
I'm trying to be serious now. Are you laughing? Don't laugh.
There we go.
You can laugh if you want to. Look at that little earring.
Okay.
Don't get that in your box. Hold your stick. I'm sorry.
VIC? Yeah, that's not me. VIC.
Cheese. Huh? Really?
You're 22. It's over here.
Good.